Welcome to Gentle Fit with Valerie. I'm a physiotherapist working with the North Lanark Community Health Centre. I'm glad to see you again. I'm hoping that you've noticed the little disclaimer that we've been adding before the classes. That's just a way for me to ensure that you are aware that it's not meant to be an exercise program that you are obliged to do. We're putting these exercise videos out there for our participants that used to come in our classes on site with us, but now we can't do that. But we definitely are welcoming anybody that were not prior participants of ours but are enjoying the videos just the same. Just make sure that you're not doing anything that is causing you any major symptoms, and if it is causing you major symptoms, you need to make sure to talk to your doctor or call telehealth or go to the emergency room if those symptoms are not improving. Okay? Without further ado, let's get started on our warm-up. Today we're going to be using some light weights for the strength component. So if you have that, get that ready. And let's start with some breathing exercise. Arms are at the sides, breathing in, lifting the arm up, breathing out, switching sides. Remembering that pursed lip breathing in through the nose, out through pursed lips, making that breath out a little bit longer than the breath in. This allows more trapped air to get out of the lungs and more fresh air to get in. Let's do one more on each side. You're going to put your hands on the shoulders, elbows are up at the sides. Again, take that breath in through the nose. As you breathe out, bring those elbows forward. Breathe in open, breathe out forward. Let's do two more. Release the arms down. Let's do some bicep curls. Last one. Moving forward a little bit on your seat, hands on the hips. We're doing some trunk circles, leaning forward to the side and back. If you want, you can try and match your breathing with this. So you would breathe in on the way back, breathe out when you come forward, and it helps to squeeze the air out of the lungs. We switch direction. I don't know if you're like me, but I can't wait for the real seasonal weather to get here. I'm tired of those little flurries every day, below zero weather. I'm ready for some outside time in warm, sunny weather. Last one. Back to center. Let's do some heel digs, bringing the heel to touch forward and back. I repeat it all the time, but make sure you listen to your body. Only do what you're comfortable with. Slow down your pace, take a break, pause the video if you're watching it by yourself. Take a breather, then restart when you're feeling ready for it. There's no judgment, you're doing this for yourself because it makes you feel good. One more each leg. Perfect. Let's just do a little bit ankle rocking, lifting those heels and lifting the toes. One more. Okay, let's stand up. We're going to do a bit of a mix of cardio and strength here. So mixing it up a bit, keeping it interesting. Hands on the chair, feet are hip width apart. Let's go up onto those toes and lower down. Three more. Feet a bit wider than the hips. We're doing those knee bends, lowering down only as low as you're comfortable, sticking those hips back, keeping the knees above the ankles. Last one. Coming back to hip width apart. Let's do side to side stepping. Opening wide, together, wide, together. Again, if you find that's a bit too intense for you, just do side. One leg at a time. Step, 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 or side to side. There's always modifications. Last one on each side. Okay, feet are hip width apart. This time I want you to point your toes out a little bit, sort of like a penguin. We're doing those heel raises again, but our toes are pointing out. So lifting those heels and lowering down. It just works the calf muscles a little bit differently. Last one. Feet are pointing forward. Let's do some hip abduction, keeping the knee straight, kicking the leg out to the side. Try to make sure your toes are still pointing forward. I don't want you to twist and rotate so the toes go to the side, because then that puts a bit more pressure on your hip. Two more. We pause, switching side. last one. Feet are hip width apart. Let's do a bit of marching on the spot. Continue to hold on if you need the support. If you feel good, you can let go of the chair. There's my co-star. If he stays on the couch, I'm good. If he comes on my chair, he doesn't like when I'm moving and he keeps attacking me. Let's add some arm swings. Three, two, and we stop. Holding on, bending those knees, kicking back. One more each side. Okay, stand a little bit to the side of your chair. You're going to lift the knee opposite the hand that's on the chair. Kick and down. Lift, kick, and down. A little bit of balance in here. You can do this seated if that's a bit too much of a challenge for you. Still works those muscles. Last one. Let's step over to the other side of the chair. Same thing with the other leg, knee up and kick. Almost there. Last one. Whew, that's a good one for the legs, eh? Let's do a bit of marching to shake those legs out a bit. Three, two, and we stop. Grab a sip of water, get your weights ready, and we're going to have a seat on our chair. Okay. So let's start with shoulder press. Holding your weights, hands are facing forward, pushing up, lowering down. It's important to control in both directions. And if you have one shoulder that's just not happy with that exercise, you could try and doing it without any resistance. And if that's possible, then you just continue without resistance for that one side. Let's do one more on each side. Arms come down at the side. We're going to do bicep curls, starting with the hands facing in. As you bend the elbow, twist so your hand is facing the shoulder at the end. I sent everybody outside so I could have some peace and quiet to do this class for you. Couple more on each side. Okay, let's put those weights just above the knees. Doing some hip flexion with added resistance, lifting the knees towards the ceiling. Last one each side. Okay, let's do shoulder abduction. Elbows are bent 90 degrees at the sides. As you breathe in, you lift the elbows up to shoulder height. Breathing out, come back down. One last time. Whew, that's a tough one for the shoulders. Again, bring your hands just above the knees. Let's lift those heels up. Last one. Coming forward a little bit on your seat. Keeping your back nice and straight. You're going to lean forward at the hips. Have the hands come down besides the legs. We're doing rowing. So bring those elbows back. Squeeze the shoulder blades. Release down. Last one. Straighten up. Hands are at the sides. We're doing shoulder shrugs. Lifting those shoulders. Release down. Two more times. Okay, put one of your weights down. I want to show you what we're going to do next, and then you can decide whether or not you're going to hold on to your weight. We're going to do some abdominal work. So staying forward on your seat, you're going to lean back. If you're using the weight, you can hold it just above the chest. Tighten your stomach muscles, come up and twist. Back to center, down, come up, twist to the other side. Back to center, down. Breathe out, Breathe in, breathe out, breathe in. If you choose to do it without the weight, same motion, stand and twist, or stand and reach to the opposite knee. If the twisting bothers your back, just do the up and down, in, forward and back motion. Let's do a couple more. Very good. Stay in that leaning back motion. Lift your arms up, really reach back. Feel the pulling in front of your stomach. Arms come out, sit up. Let's stretch the back of the leg. Heel is down, toes are pointing up, sitting nice and tall. You can lean forward a little bit more so you feel more stretch behind that leg. Let's switch to the other side. Heel is down, toes are pointing up. Keeping that back nice and straight, leaning forward. Bring it back. Let's stretch the front of the arms. You're going to have your hand facing up about shoulder height. Grab the other hand, bend the wrist so the fingers are pointing down. So you should feel it pulling on the front of the forearm. Only bend as low as you're comfortable. Release. Let's do the other side. Hand is up, bending down. Release that side. Holding on to the side of your chair, bend your head over to the opposite side and lean a little bit away. So you're going to feel it pulling down your neck and shoulder. Coming back to center, grabbing to the other side of the chair, leaning and stretching the other side of your neck. Sometimes you notice that you seem to be able to bend a little bit further on one side than the other. That's normal. We always are dominant. But it's good to stretch both sides just the same. Coming back to center, let's do a few shoulder rolls. In both directions. Okay, that will conclude our session for today. Thank you for joining me again. Until next time, take care.